Hello everyone, welcome back to Surmount SAT Prep. Today we're going to tackle Chapter 5 of the College Panda math book, which is rates. So let's look at question 1. A carpenter lays X bricks per hour for Y hours, and then lays X over 2 bricks for 2Y more hours. In terms of X and Y, how many bricks does he lay in total? So let's write an equation for this. So it's XY, and we add this to it, X over 2 and 2y multiplied by 2y, and this will give us xy plus xy because the 2 will cancel, and this will give us 2xy, so the answer is A. Tim's diet plan calls for 60 grams of protein per day. If Tim were to meet this requirement by only eating a certain protein bar that contains 30 grams of protein, how many protein bars would he have to buy to last a week? So this is a simple question. For 1 week, Tim's diet would require a protein intake of 7 times 60 because there's 7 days in a week, which is 420 grams. And since the protein bar contains 30 grams each, we can divide the 420 by 30, which would give us 14. So the correct answer is 14 protein bars per week. An electronics company sells computer monitors and releases a new model every year. With each new model, the company increases the screen size by a constant amount. In 2005, the screen size was 15.5 inches. In 2011, the screen size was 18.5 inches. Which of the following best describes how the screen size changed between 2005 and 2011? So 2005 to 2011, that's over 6 years. And the screen size had changed from a total of 3 inches. So that is 3 divided by 6, which would give us 0.5 inches per year. So the answer should be A. As a submarine descends into the deep ocean, the pressure it must withstand increases. At an altitude of 700 meters, and the pressure is 50 atm, and at 900 meters, the pressure is 70 atm. For every 10 meters the submarine descends, the pressure it faces increases by n, where n is a constant. So we need to find for n. So the pressure increases by 70 subtracted by 50, which will give us 20 atm, while the submarine descends at negative 900. We can subtract that by negative 700, which will give us negative 200 meters. So that's 20 divided by 200, which will give us 0.1 atm per meter, or 1 atm per 10 meters. And since we're finding it for 10 meters, the answer should be B. An empty pool can be filled in 5 hours if water is pumped in at 300 gallons an hour. How many hours would it take to fill the pool if the water is pumped in at 500 gallons per hour? So the pool has a capacity of 5 times 300, which is 1,500 gallons. So at an increase rate of 500 gallons per hour, it should only take 1,500 divided by 500, which is 3 hours. Alright, if A apples cost D dollars, which of the following expressions give the cost of 20 apples in dollars? So we can write an equation for this. So let's say it's 20 apples. We can multiply this by D dollars over A apples. Okay? So this will give us, these two will cancel out. So it will be 20D over A dollars. So the answer should be B. At a school, there are A grade levels with B students in each grade. If the school buys N stickers to be distributed equally among the students, which of the following gives the number of stickers each student receives? So with AB students and N stickers, each student should receive N over AD, right? So the answer should be D. During a race on a circular racetrack, a race car burns fuel at a constant rate. After lap 4, the race car has 22 gallons left in its tank. After lap 7, the race car has 18 gallons left in the tank. Assuming the race car does not refuel, after which lap will the race car have 6 gallons left in its tank? Alright, so the race car has burned 22 subtracted by 18, which is 4 gallons of fuel, and 7 minus 4, which is 3 laps. So to get to 6 gallons left, the race car will have to consume 18 subtracted by 6, which is 12 more gallons, right? So since it's 12 more gallons, we can multiply by 12 by 3 over 4, where 12 is the gallons, 4 gallons over 3 laps over 4 gallons, which will give us 9 more laps. since it's 9 more laps, it must be C. Yep. By 1 p.m., a total of 40 boxes had been unloaded from a delivery truck. By 3:30, a total of 65 had been unloaded from the same truck. If boxes are unloaded from the truck at a constant rate, okay, what is the total number of boxes that will have been unloaded from the truck by 7 p.m.? Alright, so it took 22.5 hours for 65 minus 50, which is 40, which is 25 boxes to get unloaded. And there are 3.5 hours, alright, from 3:30 to 7 p.m. So in 3.5 hours, we can write 3.5 hours multiplied by 25 boxes over 2.5 hours. And this will give us 35 boxes, more boxes that will be unloaded. So that's a total of 65, the initial, plus 35, which will give us 100. So the answer is 100. Amy buys $D worth of groceries each week and spends a fourth of those dollars on fruit. In terms of D, how many weeks will it take for Amy to spend a total of $100 on just fruit? So Amy spends D over $4 every week on fruit. So it will take her 100 divided by D over 4, which will give us 400 D, or 400 over D weeks to spend $100 on fruit. So the answer should be A. Alright, an internet service provider charges at one-time setup fee of $100 and $50 each month of service. If C customers join at the same time and are on the service for M months, which of the following expressions represent the total amount in dollars the provider has charged these customers, okay? So the setup fee is 100, amounts to 100 C, right? $100 for each customer, and the monthly cost for all the customers amounts to 50 C. See how we're adding C here? And over M months, the monthly charges add up to 50 C times N, or 50 CM. So the total charge is therefore the initial 100 C plus 50 CM. So the answer should be B. Alright, a manufacturing plant increases the temperature of a chemical compound by D degrees Celsius every M minutes. If the compound has an initial temperature of T degrees Celsius, which of the following expressions give its temperature after X minutes and it's in degrees Celsius, okay? So the compound's temperature increases by D over M per minute, the degrees per minute, right? So let's say after X minutes, the temperature increases by D over mx, or we can write this as dx over m, right? So the final temperature is then T plus dx over m. So the answer should be D. Alright. At a shop for tourists, the price of one souvenir is $8. Each additional souvenir purchased after the first is discounted by 40%, okay? If James buys n souvenirs where n is greater than 1, which of the following represents the total cost of the souvenirs? Alright, so the reduced price of each souvenir after the first is 0.6a, right? So after the first souvenir, there are n minus 1 souvenirs that James will purchase at the reduced price. Therefore, the total cost should be a plus n minus 1 in brackets multiplied by 0.6a. So the answer should be B. Alright, a cupcake store employs bakers to make boxes of cupcakes. Each box contains X cupcakes and each baker is expected to produce Y cupcakes each day. Which of the following expressions give the number of boxes needed for all the cupcakes produced by 3X bakers working for 4 days? So the bakers make 3XY cupcakes a day. So over 4 days, it will be 4 times 3XY, which is 12XY, right? And the number of boxes needed should be the total number of the cupcakes, which is to be divided by the number of cupcakes that can be fit into each box. So it's 12XY over X, which cancels out to 12Y. So the answer is D. 15. At a math team competition, there are M schools with N students from each school. The host school wants to order enough pizza so that there are 2 slices for each student. If there are 8 slices in one pizza, which of the following gives the number of slices of the host host school must order, okay? So for MN students, the total number of slices must be 2MN because there will be 2 slices per student. Since there was 8 slices in a pizza, you can divide this by 8. So the school must order MN over 4 pizzas, right? So the answer is B. Alright. The expression above gives the population of leopards after 5 years, during which an initial population of pea leopards grow by R% each year. Which of the following expressions give the percent increase in the leopard population over these 5 years? Okay. So the percent change is the new minus the old over the old 100 times, right? So we can rewrite this as P1 plus R over 100, 5 minus P over P times 100, which can be rewritten as 1 plus R over 100 to the power of 5 minus 1 times by 100, which equals to C. Alright, Henry drives 150 miles at 30 miles per hour, then another 200 miles at 50 miles per hour. What was his average speed in miles per hour for the entire journey to the nearest hundredth? So the first 100 miles took 5 hours, right? Because it's 150 divided by 30. And the next one, 200 miles divided by 50, took 4 hours. So his average speed, total distance over total time, was 150 plus 200 and divided by 5 plus 4, which would give us roughly 38.89 miles per hour. So the correct answer should be A. Alright, a rolling ball covers a distance of 2,400 feet in 4 minutes. What is the ball's average speed in inches per second? So the average speed is just total distance over total time, right? And the total distance was 2,400 times 12, which is 28,800. And the total time was 4 times 60, which is 240. So we divide 28,800 over 240, which would give us 120 inches per second. So that's the correct answer. Edina can type 90 words in 2.5 minutes. How many words can she type in 12 minutes, okay? So this one's pretty simple. You can just make an equation. 12 minutes times 90 words over 2.5 minutes, which would give us 432 words per 12 minutes. A painter can cover a circular region with a radius of 3 feet with the paint in 2 minutes. At this rate, how many minutes will it take for the painter to cover a whole circular region with a radius of 6 feet with paint? So the painter can cover an area of pi 3 squared, right? Because it's circular, it's pi r squared, and the radius is 3. And this will be equal to 9 pi in 2 minutes. So the circular region with a radius of 6 feet has an area of pi 6 squared, which is 36 pi. So we can rewrite this as 36 pi times 2 minutes over 9 pi, which would give us 8 minutes. So the answer is 8 minutes. A slow clock falls behind at the same rate every hour. It is set to the correct time at 4 a.m. When the clock shows 5 a.m. the same day, then the correct time is 5:08. When the clock shows at 10:30 that day, what is the correct time? Okay. So the clock falls behind, we can see, by 8 minutes per every hour, right? So there are 6.5 hours between 4 to 10 a.m. So the clock falls behind by 8 times 6.5, which is 52 minutes. So the correct time is 52 minutes past 10:30, which should be 11:22. A salesman at a tea company makes a $15 commission on every $100 worth of products that he sells. If a jar of tea leaves is $20, how many jars would he have to sell to make $108 in commission? So we can write this as 180 in commission times 100 in products over 15 in commission times 1 jar over 20 in products, which will give us 60 jars. Okay. A train covers 32 kilometers in 14.5 minutes. If it continues to travel at the same rate, which of the following is the closest to the distance it will travel in 2 hours? Okay. So you can write this as an equation: 2 hours times 60 minutes. And how many hours in 60 minutes? 1 hour. 14.5 minutes over below 32 kilometers, which would give us, you can just put this in the calculator, which would give us 265. So the answer is B. Okay. 1 liter is equivalent to approximately 33.8 ounces. Mark has a plastic cups that can each hold 12 ounces of liquid. At most, how many of these plastic cups could a 2-liter bottle of soda fill? So 2 liters is equivalent to 2 times 33.8 ounces, which is 67.6 ounces, which can fill up 67.6 divided by 12, which is roughly 5.63 plastic cups, right? So at most, it must be 5 plastic cups that can be completely filled. Be careful with this one, 6 is not the correct answer. Okay. Brett currently spends $160 each month on gas. His current car is able to travel 30 miles per gallon of gas. He decides to switch his current car for a new car that is able to travel 40 miles per gallon of gas. Assuming the price of gas stays the same, how much will he spend on gas each month with the new car? So what makes this question a little bit tricky is that we actually don't know the distance that Brett will travel each month, or as well as the number of gallons that he uses each month, right? So we can just guess that he maybe uses 2 gallons each month. That means he travels 30 times 2, which is 60 miles each month. And each gallon costs 160 divided by 2, which is $80. Now, if he switches to a new car, he only needs 60 divided by 40, which is 1.5 gallons of gas each month. And because the price of gas stays the same, that will cost him 1.5 times 80, which is $120 a month. So the answer is B. Okay, 26. An 8-inch by 10-inch piece of cardboard costs $2. If the cost of a piece of cardboard is proportional to its area, what is the cost of a piece of cardboard that is 16 by 20? Okay. So an 8 by 10 has an area of 8 times 10, which is 80 square inches, and 16 times 20, which give us 220. So, like we did before, 320 square inches times $2 over 80 square inches, which give us $8. So the answer is B. Margaret can buy 4 jars of honey for $9, and you can sell 3 jars of honey for $15. How many jars of honey would she have to buy and then sell to make a total profit of $132? So each jar of honey costs 9 divided by 4, which is $2.25, and she can sell 15 over 3, which is each jar for $5. So that's a profit of 5 minus 2.25, which is 2.75. And to make a profit of 132, she needs to divide 132 by 2.75, which gives us 48 jars. In 1 hour, Jason can install at least 6 windows, but no more than 8 windows. Which of the following could be a possible amount of time in hours that Jason takes to install 100 windows in a home? So if Jason works at a slowest pace, it will take him 100 divided by 6, which is 16.67 hours. Working at the fastest pace, he would make 100 divided by 8, which is 12.5. So the correct answer should be the number that is in between 12.5 and 16.67, which in this case can only be B. Okay. A chemistry teacher is planning to run a class experiment in which each student must measure out 100 millimeters of vinegar in a graduated cylinder. The class is limited to using 6 cups of vinegar. Given the information above, what is the maximum number of students who will be able to participate in this experiment? So we can write this as an equation as we did before. 6 cups times 16 ounces over 1 cup times 1 ounce, which is 29.6 milliliters, times 1 student over 100 millimeters, which would give us 28.4 students. And since it wouldn't make sense to have 28.4 students, the most that can be accommodated should be 28. It's not 29, okay? So the answer is 28. Yuna runs at a steady rate of 1 yard per second. Jessica runs 4 times as fast. If Jessica gives Yuna a head start of 30 yards in a race, how many yards must Jessica run to catch up with Yuna? So Jessica can run at a rate of 4 yards per second. So we can let T be the time taken for J to overtake Yuna. So we can make an equation with the left side being Yuna's distance and the right side being Jessica's distance. So it's 30 plus t, is equal to 4t. And we can rewrite this, we can bring the t over here, which would be 30 is equal to 3t because the t would be subtracted. And then we can simplify this as t is equal to 10. So it will take 10 seconds for Jessica to catch up to Yuna. In that time, Jessica will run 4 times 10, which is 40 yards. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next chapter.